Hey, hi, it's Judy Converse, pediatric nutrition expert here. And I want to just touch base with you guys about elimination diets and underfeeding kids. And right now, this is a big thing in my practice. Right now, I'm meeting many parents whose kids have a lot of issues. Whether they're little babies, toddlers, or even a little bit older, as old as 13, 14, and they're on really restricted diets. They're using autoimmune paleo or SCD or low histamine diets, and all of those diets have merits for sure. And what I want to share with you is what I usually find is parents are all well intended using those too much. And I'm meeting lots of kids who are growth impaired and their pediatricians aren't noticing because they're not under the fifth percentile. And the reality is, and I talk about this on my website, you can go there, nutritioncure.net. I have a blog about being underweight and what the impacts are for kids. They're huge, especially for babies and toddlers. So I always find that I'm able to encourage families to broaden not only the amounts of foods that they're allowing their kids to eat, but the quantities, but also the variety, and that kids can often eat more than you think. And I'll just give you a quick example, working with a 4-year-old child today who's lost his growth pattern, not under the fifth percentile. So pediatric team isn't really aware. The body mass index looks great because that kid is literally like shrinking proportionately. The slowdown in the velocity for how he's gaining weight and the slowdown in the velocity for how he's getting taller are the same. So he looks proportional. But in reality, when I assess his growth pattern and his history, he needs to be much bigger right now. And what that means is it's really affecting his functioning, his sleep, his mood, his behavior, and all kinds of things. This can really have huge impacts. Parents are always so surprised to see what adding more food can mean for kids. And when kids are off their growth patterns and growth impaired, especially when they're little, they can need tons of food. It can be so surprising how much food they actually need. And I find that I'm giving parents permission to give their kids a lot of food. And the other thing that I really want to share is when kids are in that scenario and they're lapsing off their growth patterns, they may look proportionate, they may not look underweight, but it's not difficult to assess their growth pattern. I need you to know two things. Number one, doctors aren't nutritionists. They don't study nutrition and food in any really relevant depth, and they may not know how to tell you how to correct a growth pattern or how to even recognize a growth pattern that's faltered. But the tips for you are going to be that your kid may not sleep well, may not fall asleep well, may not sleep through the night very easily. They have mood crashes. They may be weepy, they may be anxious, they have difficulty focusing, they may be combative. Those are big tells that this is something to look at. There might be other stuff going on, but that's one of the big clues. And the other thing I really want you to know is, depending on age, when kids are little especially, they can need triple the calories per pound that you or I need as an adult. They need a lot of food. So it can be counterintuitive, where I'm talking about a 4-year-old child who needs like 2,200 calories a day right now to correct a growth pattern. And that's the calorie intake you would tell an adult to have. So a lot of families are afraid to do that, but don't be. I want to encourage you all to give your kids enough food, give them variety, give them what they want to eat. And if you're going to use an elimination diet, be really sure that they need that food eliminated. Anything you eliminate needs to be met with equal or better value food put back in the diet with something else. If you're going to pull out, fluid milk, which a lot of kids in my practice don't drink, you need something equal or better value going back in. It can't just be like a nut milk, which doesn't have much protein in it at all. So give lots to eat. You will be possibly quite amazed to see the functioning of your child improve just when they recover their expected growth pattern. And if you need more info on all this, go to my blog at nutritioncare.net and look at the topics on there around being underweight and growth and feeding. And thanks.